All right, how are you doing here? Hey guys, how you doing? So let me know in the comments. First of all, let me know in the comments if you can hear me. That'd be cool. All right, how did that happen? All right. So, okay. Hold on. Where did all this go? Technical difficulties already occurring. There we go. Hey guys, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me. If you can hear me clearly. Is there any clipping or not? And yeah, we'll take it from there. Loud and clear. Okay, so it's not clipping, meaning it's not garbled and harsh. It's clear. Okay, cool. Just let me know in the comments. So thanks for joining the show, everybody. Very good. So if you go to my Twitter handle, Twitter @KillerSites, you'll see, where is it? Right here. We're going to do a show there, so that if you want to call in, well, call in if you will, and have a voice conversation with me, you can do that right there if you like. So that's kind of cool. Audio's good. All right, good. Hello from Montreal, Place César. Oh, my next door neighbor right here. Okay, so loud and clear. Okay, so in about 9 minutes, I'll be setting the Twitter Spaces live. There we go. So I'm going to answer a question that you might be asking. Why don't you announce these shows in advance? That's because I'm doing it on purpose to keep the audience a little small right now as I work out some of the logistical bugs, if you will, in doing this. Doing this live, I'll do it this way. Doing this live here, where we pipe in the Twitter at the same time, is not super clear. I'm hacking it right now to get the audio in. The playthrough of the audio is not perfect. So anyway, in this show, you can ask me any questions that you want about anything related to code, finance, freelancing, whatever you want. What I do on these shows, I'm basically trying to transfer my decades of experience, my decades of experience in software and in business. So yeah, so I got this. I'll put this, should I go over here? No, let me shrink this. There we go. Shrink it. No, too small. There we go. So there's my Twitter handle if you want to get on live. So let's see what we got here. How do you accomplish complicated and ambitious projects like operating system development, a programming language from scratch, etc., without throwing your hands up and giving up? Like anything else, when you have something that's complex, what you want to do first and foremost is break it down into smaller components. So I haven't built an operating system, but from what I know, I think I would start with the kernel and take it from there. Let me talk about something I do know, and that's web design and development. I always start with the screens. I always start with the views or the screens, and we build up that. And then once that's built, that will give you a lot of direction in terms of what the database might be. If you're going to have a database, most of the time you're going to have a database. So that's how that is. So yeah, you just break it up into little components and work on each component. And when you have not done this before, of course, things won't be 100% clear until you actually done it. So So you're going to be feeling your way through the process, if you will. All right. So okay. So I think everybody is able to see. Okay, I've got another question here. Question: lots of job applications ask for schooling diploma. Depending on where you work, but potentially, what if you don't have one, but are a really great dev? Well, you have to have a great portfolio and a great track record to show your ability. Typically, that will trump education. I feel like this makes me feel insecure, kind of. Is it a big deal not to add a diploma? It's becoming less and less of an issue, and it really depends on the company. But many companies these days don't care if you have a diploma, if you can show skills. If you can show skills. Anyway, again, if you look here, right here, this is my Twitter handle. If you want to get on and speak with me, we're going to set up the Twitter space is going to go live in about 5 minutes or less, depending on how I feel. So yeah. Set reminder Twitter space. Yeah, I will. Once I sort of figure out exactly how I'm going to implement these shows, then I'll have a set schedule and things will be scheduled in advance so you can set reminders and so forth. Right now, I'm still working out some of the details, so I'm a little loose. What type of genre jazz is that? That is it's actually something I found on YouTube, so it's royalty free. And it's actually a copy. I don't know the name of the song. You have to look for it. I got it like a year or two ago. It's actually a copy of A Silent Way by, what's his name? Miles Davis. If you find Miles Davis, very famous jazz artist, and he wrote this, he put out this album called A Silent Way, and that track is pretty much mimicking the style of music in a silent way. So if you want to get that type of song, check out Miles Davis, A Silent Way, and you'll find what you want to find there. It's a great album, by the way. It's a kind of a chillax album, you know? Yeah. North Kentucky, chill, Windhouse Jazz, spring session. 11:58. You're up, man. You're always up late. JC, Mr. Botha is up late. I remember South African boxer was pretty good. Heavyweight boxer Francois Botha, I think his name was. Yeah. Okay, loud and clear. Audio's good. All right, good. So I want to make sure everything's cool. Good evening, Kevin. How are you? All right, what do we got? Cool, I'm glad. Thank you. I got excited with my question. No problem. Well, everybody, code long and profit. This is what I stole this from Star Trek. All right. Okay, Mark says, I want to know how many hours should I put into projects? I'm doing self-taught learning and started building, and I've been obsessed with building my project now, but I'm neglecting my book learning. The best way to learn is actually to do. Something I learned from martial arts and boxing. I used to tell people one sparring session, 3 rounds, 3 minutes a round, is worth months and months of training outside of the ring. So what I always recommend to people who are learning how to code, you want to get to projects as much as possible. When you have a fundamental knowledge, when you know your way around, not everything, just you know how to build certain little things. Then you got to challenge yourself and start building some simple but real projects and get them done. You don't want to build something halfway and then drop it, because that's not going to give you nearly the same impact as completing something. I like to say, when you're halfway there, you are nowhere. So complete those projects 100%. 100%. Yeah, how are we doing? Okay. Twitter Spaces. We're about to go live. If you want to get on and talk with me, go to Twitter and go to @KillerSites, and you'll find what you see right here. Right here. And you'll be able to get on live. Yeah. There we go. So what else do we got here? Hey man, how are ya? Hope everything is good. All right, good. Thanks for joining the stream. Romania, Bucharest. What car did you get? Well, it should be here very soon. I ordered it like 8 months ago. That's something I never thought I would buy. So it's actually faster than my old Audi S5. But it's, I'll tell you, it's an SUV actually. So first time I'm buying an SUV. I was a convertible guy, but I like SUVs. So anyway, all right. So go to @KillerSites on Twitter to join this AMA. So ask me questions. We'll start it soon. Profile. Hold on. Here it is. See details. Start now. Let's see if it works. All right. So here it is. It's pretty good. So we are live now. So if you want to hop over and to put a voice question to me, I invite you to do that. And we'll see how this goes. So there we go. The playthrough is not working. So that's no good. So we're going to have to use the mic here. All right. People are in. Hey guys. Hey people on Twitter. Welcome to the stream. I don't know how many of you are on YouTube right now, but yeah, so this is your opportunity. If you want to ask me a question on Spaces, just raise your hand and let me know, and I will give you access. What I'll do is I'm going to switch around between YouTube and Twitter Spaces. And we'll take it from there. We'll see how it goes. All right. So what other questions we have? Well, I'm waiting for people to want to jump in. Let's see other questions I have on YouTube here. So somebody asked me, what do you think of Next.js? Do you think it's worth switching from React? I would, again, like anything technology you look at, if you're looking at it from the point of view of getting a job, then I would just look at the job market and help you make that decision. If, on the other hand, you're looking at these technologies from the point of view of maybe building your own project, then you look at the needs of your project and you look at the efficiency of that technology as it relates to your project's needs. There's no universal better technology per se. It's really dependent on the type of work that you're going to do. Hold on. We ever make more in-depth videos about diet and health? I think so. So, you know what? You can put comments, whether it be on Twitter or on YouTube. If you could put comments about what type of content you'd like to see going forward. So one of the reasons I do these live shows unannounced, because I'm working out some technical implementation issues, like this Twitter Spaces thing, integrated live with YouTube. But also I'm trying to figure out where exactly I want to take the channel in terms of teaching. So I have, if you want to learn code from me, I have my Studioweb interactive training platform. Whether you go for my mentoring program at unclesteph.com or you learn on your own with the interactive courses, they're all there. So, and they're evergreen for the most part. If something needs to be updated, I update them. But the idea behind my courses and my curriculum is to get you to the point where you understand code so well and you understand it confidently enough so that you won't need other teachers to teach you React or to teach you Node or teach you whatever technologies you decide to get into. This is all up to you, you know? So beyond that, though, people will know I do my major in University of Psychology, although I didn't graduate in psych. That was my major, though. And but I've kept up with it. And I put out a course about a year ago called Lizard Wizard, very practical. And it teaches you about how your brain works. And it gives you practical exercises to start exercising your mind in ways you probably have not done before. This is derived from my experience in psychology and decades of experience in martial arts, where we did lots of meditations and exercises to train emotional control, mental control, et cetera. So that's all there. So let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments below in the questions. What would you like to see? Especially put in the comments under this video on YouTube or the comments on Twitter. That will give me an idea, because I can go all these different tangents based on what the audience wants to see. Everything I talk about, by the way, is stuff I know from personal experience. So I'm not going to talk about archaeology. I'm not going to talk about brain surgery. No, I'm going to talk about stuff that I've done personally, stuff that's born out of personal experience. So let's see. Will we ever run out of things to program? I don't think so. Not for a long time. How much time should a simple website take, and how should I speed up development process and interacting with clients? Well, I've talked about this a lot. It's all about workflows. If you have really good workflows, you will speed up the process. So if you do my freelance course, I map that out, how to write the contracts, how to set the stage, if you will, for the contract, for the job with the client, so that you can maximize your efficiencies. So it has to do with just, first of all, just becoming better at your job. And second of all, it's about setting up a circumstance, if you will, within the context of the project, so that you're efficient in what you do. Okay, so again, you see this Twitter @KillerSites for people just joining on. I put that there for people who might want to get on a voice and talk to me. So in Twitter, by the way, please let me know if you can hear me clearly. Just give me a hands or 100% or something. People in the Twitter Spaces, so that I know that the mic is coming through. So Somto wants to get in, so I'll add a speaker. We're connecting to our first speaker. We'll see how that goes. Alrighty. We'll see. Well, when he comes in, we'll get to Somto. What else is there? Okay. So.
Okay. Good morning, Uncle Steph.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me? I think I'm having bad network connection. I can't really hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, I would ask.
Hello.
That's my question later on. Let me just try and figure out what's wrong with my network connection. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Sorry. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Okay, good. Let me know before you ask your question. Let me ask the people on YouTube. Hold on a second. Before you ask the question, everybody on YouTube, can you let me know in the comments if you can hear Somto's question? Okay.
I would ask my question in the comments then.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm practically a student at, would I call it a boot camp? It's basically an institution where they like take us languages to work on enterprise-based applications. And currently I'm focusing on Java. So I just wanted to ask if I should keep on choosing Java, because as of now, I do love Java. Can you hear me? Oh, she said.
Hello? All right. So he's having trouble with his tech. Okay. Well, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So that guy was having trouble with his audio. I hear on Twitter, both of you. Good. He said he will ask his question in the comments. All right. That's good. Well, that's it. So we're still working out the details here. Okay. Again, if you want to ask any particular questions, go to Twitter @KillerSites, and you will be able to join the spaces there if you want any audio questions answered. Hold on. What's he? Okay, what Michael says. Hi, are you getting that quality from an iPhone? No. I'm debating using my iPhone 12 for recording videos versus buying a webcam. I would use your iPhone before I would use a webcam, but I'm using a cinema camera here to get this level of quality. That's why you get the bokeh hand, the blurry hand going on. So yeah, this is not an iPhone. No. Let me go on. Yeah, the guest. If you come on to Twitter Spaces, make sure you keep the mic near you. And you don't hit the mic and stuff because people hear all that knocking and so on. So yeah, let's continue. All right. Are we getting clipping? Oh, we are getting clipping. Okay, let me fix that. Hold on. Okay, let me know if we're still getting clipping now. Sorry about the clipping, Pablo and everybody else. Yeah, I hit the wrong dial for a second. See, I've rigged something up here for the lives that it's a little dicey. It's a little dicey. So what are you drinking? I'm just drinking a herbal tea. I pretty much quit coffee by 99% about over a month ago, a month and a half. Down to tea. Although I'm starting out, I'll have a coffee one every 2 weeks or something like that. How do you think GPT will change learning and production processes for developers? Okay. Yeah, it's going to be. How do I think it's going to change it? I couldn't say for sure. It's going to speed it up. That's what it's going to do, for sure. There we go. Excuse me. I'm distracted by several different things. It's going to speed it up for sure. It's not going to replace developers. It's definitely something I would pursue. In the last stream, I talked about how I think developers should learn ChatGPT. Yeah, for sure. Learn ChatGPT. Use it to learn. It will speed up the process. 100%. But don't see it as a threat. It's not a threat to development. So, okay. Much better. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry about the clipping, guys. You can ask your question here if you want. You only go on Twitter Spaces if you feel a need to want to do a voice conversation with me. As a web dev, I fear we will run out of things to develop in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't believe so. I think there'll be all kinds of opportunities that will present themselves, so I wouldn't be too concerned. So by the way, people new on the stream here, I put the Twitter @KillerSites to just so if you want to get on Twitter to ask me a question verbally, you can do that there. Good day, how are you? Hope everything is well. All right, so that experiment. What's your belt in BJJ? I've never done BJJ. I've done, I did about a year or so of wrestling, freestyle wrestling, did a couple years of judo. That is my grappling experience. Yeah, my submission game is, it's okay. We'll add Casey as a speaker. Go for it, Casey. The floor is yours.
Hey, Uncle Steph, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. I just want to throw this. I'm thinking about like getting into making WordPress plugins, or I'm considering between WordPress plugins and just building a standalone app with like Laravel. What's your thoughts on that? Which way would you go? I mean, it's like a booking app type of thing for like home service businesses. Which one would you go for?
Without having studied the market, which would something I would poke around the market, I would see if there's any such WordPress plugins already available. See if they're popular. You can get the ratings, so many people voting for it, and see if there's a market for you potentially in WordPress world, if that makes sense, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I would that would be the first thing I would do. Because, there might be this big market of small business owners that you may be able to plug into literally if you develop such a plugin,
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So that's a good business angle. Now, in terms of, from a coder's perspective, my inclination would be more to lean towards from scratch Laravel implementation, because you have a lot more flexibility. But then you wouldn't have that built-in market that you get with a WordPress plugin, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I look at the marketplace and everything. They'll find it easier. It seems like.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, and it's also somebody who's already on WordPress, and so many small businesses are already on WordPress. When it's a lot easier to sell them a plugin rather than a whole new app. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was considering, yeah.
It's a good question. But first thing I would do is I would look on the WordPress community and find out what's out there now, how popular it is, And if you find any out there, see what they do, see if you can improve upon them.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No worries. Good question. All right, I'll move on to Joe. Joe requested. We're connecting to Joe. You're on, Joe.
Hey there.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me fine?
Yep.
Yeah, hi there. I want just to say that I'm really, really happy to speak with you in person. I've been following you for almost a year when I decided to start learning to code, and I wanted to say that you've guided me a lot through my journey through learning.
Cool.
I'm not going to make it long. I'm just going to ask a quick question. I really find it hard for me to find any kind of resource for a person who is a midway, like a person who learns to code midway. All the content I find is related to people who are starting to code, but not a person who is midway, which is me. I've been learning for almost a year now. I've learned front end, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, Angular. But then I decided to switch to back end, which I really settled in. I started to become projects on it, which is PHP and Laravel. Currently now, I did like 3 projects. I finished 3 Laravel projects, and I started deploying them and applying for jobs. I got few interviews, but unfortunately, some of them that I failed to go through. My question is that as a person who's learning as a midway in the process of coding, what should I do? What should be my next step? And what should be the next step that I should do, or what should I do next?
With the aim of getting a job, what I would do is I would look at find some communities, some Discord servers with the type of developers that you're looking to be. So if you're, I don't know, if you want to be a Node.js developer, find a Discord server with Node.js developers, join that community. You'll find a lot of people probably have work and are working now. And that's going to increase the probability that you get a job by quite a bit because they'll know you. I have a Discord server. We got over 3,500 people, all kinds of people of different levels, students and people working in the field. And at the same time, when you start get to know these people in these communities, whether it be on Discord or on Twitter, for example, you'll start learning from them because you'll be interacting with them, talking to them. Like if you check out the last live, we had some pretty experienced developers, it seems, on the call talking about things. So you get to know them, you start following them on Twitter, and so on. Does that make sense?
Yes, actually, it truly makes sense. I'm actually following your Discord server for almost a couple of months now, and I started making some conversations there, and I really found some help through the group, and which is actually was really happy for because I really found some answers to some of my questions that I was aging for, which is really helped me a lot. And actually, yeah, this advice actually really helped me in that regards. Yes, it just the problem is that I just really find myself in the middle of nowhere. The thing is that I switched to coding because this is not my main career. I used to have another career in customer service. Then I decided to switch careers to coding. I actually what happened is that I took actually some time off from work. I just to be open to code only without a job, depending on my finances and my savings. So I'm currently actually giving all my time to code, learn and giving us dividing my schedule for sometimes to learn and another time to do some projects. Implement some code. I sometimes actually solve some problems on Code Wars, not lead code. I feel like lead code is a bit hard for me, so I just try and deal with Code Wars, which is a little bit facilitated. I just wanted to know if what I'm doing is right, if I'm moving through the right course, or there's anything wrong that I'm doing that making me a little bit late when it comes to applying to jobs. The other thing is that when I try to apply for a job, sometimes actually my resume is not looked at all, and the other times that I got accepted in, which was last week, I guess, I had an interview for a backend role, and the interviewer asked me to draw an entity diagram. I don't know why this happened, but I'm really familiar with that, and I'm actually familiar with the question that's presented to me. And he asked me to do it in 20 minutes, but for some reason I couldn't do it. And when he actually explained to me what should be done, I found out I actually really know how to be done, but I couldn't do it during the exam, and I didn't know really why that happened to me. Knowing that this is the first time actually this is the first main interview I went through. The other ones was just a HackerRank exam, but this is the first time I had a face-to-face interview with a question.
Okay, good. Yeah, the reason that happened to you is just a question of nerves. That's why you got to start applying to as many jobs as you can. Start networking. Don't worry, it will pass. It was just a question of nerves. That's all. I talk about that in my Lizard Wizard training. You just got to get over that. There's things you can do in terms of prepping your lower brain that controls all your emotions to try to mitigate for these type of things. But that's normal. Don't worry about it. Applying for jobs, especially your first job as a developer, is like dating. You have to expect to get rejected. It's no big deal. With every job attempt you make, you're going to refine how you pursue that, and you get better at that. So to answer your other question, what should you do now? I would be, given that you told me you built these functional projects, I would be out there looking to do small little independent projects to help some local small business, local nonprofit. You look in my YouTube video stream or collection rather, and you find videos where I say like how to get your first job or something like that. Right now, what you want to do is concentrate on building your reputation on Twitter and in a proper Discord servers. You want to make sure you have a portfolio site that's up, and you want to go out there and find, even if you do a couple of free little jobs for local small business, you want to show portfolio, if you don't already have it, of building things. If you already have some projects that you build for clients, real projects, then I would be concentrating on that networking, getting to know people, submitting resumes, so on and so forth. Once you can start making connections, and I've seen that people in my own mentoring group, once they've made connections, that's when all the doors start opening. Does that help?
Yes, it really helps. Thank you so much, Stefan. I'm really, really happy to have this nice conversation with you.
Not a problem. My pleasure. Thanks for joining the stream. All right, let me answer some YouTube questions, since we got a bunch here. Okay, we'll make some room. Let me shrink this up. All right, so at Twitter, that's probably better. All right, let me go on. Did you get a BMW X5? I was actually looking at the X3 and I decided against BMW. There is work being done on GPT-5 as we speak. It will arrive in like a year and it will be 10 times more powerful than 4. Yeah. That's fine. You know, I use GPT for my latest project. It speeds up things more quickly than Dr. Google, that's for sure. I just like talking code to a mentor. Just like talking code to a mentor. Yeah. See, to take full advantage of ChatGPT, you really have to come there with a certain base of knowledge. And then it could speed things up. Now, you can't rely on the code that it produces a lot of errors. That will pass. But coding is just a small part of development. There's a lot of assessment that's going on. There's a lot of, even when you're writing the code and debugging things, a lot of times you'll have errors that have nothing, that doesn't really have anything to do directly with the code. It could be config issues. It could be all kinds of issues. So again, people who are nervous about the AI replacing coders anytime soon, I get the impression they're not professional developers, because anybody who knows professional development knows that coding is a part of it. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Okay, hold on. Yeah, and he's right. Amtech is right. Google, searching through Google can be quite slow compared to GPT, that's for sure. So that's good. Okay, if someone wanted to get into cybersecurity, what would be the best entry-level lane to try to get into? Well, I'm not a cybersecurity guy, so I don't have anything to offer about cybersecurity. I am a developer, so you would have to talk to some cybersecurity people about that. What people don't get about GPT AI is that it is a text generator that assembles text based on probability and statistics, 100%. It cannot think, 100%, and it cannot invent new things. It only brings up what was there, I guess. It only brings up what humans have already done. So saying GPT will replace programmers is somewhat dumb. Yeah, pretty much. Again, I think most of the people who are worried about ChatGPT, I believe they're not active developers or have been. That's my opinion. Will programming become automated? The junior engineer will get a huge pay cut, I imagine. No. What's going to happen is that, like I've seen before in prior iterations where the software development world changed, where we have huge increase in productivity. I talked about that in previous vlogs where I was brought in to do a project where a previous development firm took over a year to build it, and they still couldn't get it to work. And I built it from scratch with a brand new technology, page-based development. And I was able to do the whole thing from scratch in 30 days. And it worked better and had all the features. It wasn't because I was an amazing programmer. It was because the technology was so performant. Literally a 12x improvement, right? So with the AI, ChatGPT and the like, you're going to see that type of improvement. So what happened when that 12x technology came out, it didn't replace developers. It didn't make fewer developer jobs. It just made developers far more productive. So the quality of the apps that we were generating increased quite a bit. And the rate at which we developed apps increased quite a bit. So I think that's what's going to happen with GPT. We're just going to see a quicker output and better quality, more features. If you don't believe me, look at what apps were like, web apps were like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. They were primitive by today's standards. Why? Because everything had to be built from scratch. It was a lot of work. And we still have plenty of jobs. Let me go on. What is your favorite OS, language, tech stack, etc. that you have worked with? Like what was most intriguing to you? I think my favorite OS must be Mac OS, because that's what I use nowadays. Mac OS is basically a flavor of Unix under the hood. So if you like Linux and all its power, you have a good deal of that with Mac OS. You got these certain advantages there. Language. What's my favorite language? Well, my favorite language in the day was Java. I did tons of work in Java. It was such a satisfying language because it worked. It was very logical, etc. But it's become too verbose, overly bureaucratic, if you will. So I would not advise anybody to build anything new in Java these days. It's a good language, but it's just too slow to write in. For me, if you're developing web apps for a startup, for me, my choices are either PHP with the Laravel framework or Node.js. That's what I would use. But they're all very good. So what was the most intriguing technology for me? Well, right now, the most intriguing thing is this AI revolution that we're hitting now. This is pretty cool. I would definitely, I tell people, now is the time to start exploring AI tools like ChatGPT, whether you're learning or whether you are looking to speed up your development process. And it will speed things up. And it's time to understand that. I think there will be AI specialists where they will help companies determine which AIs that they can use to help their businesses. And so that would be a new job. There's already, I think that's a new job that's going to be created, or a new profession. AI freelance providers. Probably a lot of opportunity there. Humans has already done, so saying GPT will replace programmers is somewhat dumb. Many SE will start getting pay cuts, software engineers, I guess, because AI is doing a good amount of work. I don't believe that. I think I gave my explanation there. When WordPress started, people are scared, like the situation ChatGPT now. Yeah, exactly. That's another example. When WordPress came out, a lot of people were like having kittens. They were freaking out. Oh no! It didn't happen. It changed the game. People building static websites, they diminished, but there was more than a whole bunch of new jobs were created to become WordPress specialists. WordPress people can make a lot of money. Don't underestimate the amount of money you can make with WordPress. Just automated some developers today. Okay. Question. It appears to me that who you know is almost as important as what you know these days. Your opinion? Well, it's always been that way, because who you know is somebody you can trust or not trust. But if you know somebody, there's much less of a risk. So the old principles of networking and good communication skills, all these things I've been talking about for a while, they still stand true today. I would not be dissuaded by that. And by the way, anybody in the Twitter Spaces, we have a small group today. If you want to ask a question, ask away. just let me know and we'll get you on. I'm simultaneously streaming anybody on Twitter with on YouTube right now. I don't see any PB with ChatGPT. If you sucks, you will not ask relevant questions. Exactly. You got to know what questions to ask with the AI, that's for sure. Whereas good dev articulates better questions because embrace of the whole ecosystem is still more productive. Yeah, I can understand. What he's saying is correct. Khaled is correct. Yeah, LinkedIn is another place, especially for jobs. You want to get into LinkedIn as well. How do I avoid developing bad coding habits as a newbie? I've been learning JS for 1 month. Well, learn your foundations. Learn to do practical stuff with JS. I would just do the front end, HTML5, CSS3, JS, and then start building things. What you want to do, maybe you can jump into a framework like a React or a Vue. Start learning, because when you learn a framework or a library, those libraries, you're actually going to be learning how to code as well. Another thing you can do, once you get past that where you can build simple apps, you can check out below. I have books to links to books on refactoring, learn design patterns. But any good course in programming, they're going to weave into it good explanations of best coding practices. So shameless self-promotion, I have a JavaScript course you might want to check out. It teaches you how to write code, but it teaches you how to write code properly. At least it introduces you to some of the basic concepts like, no God methods, proper naming conventions, simplicity in code, these kind of things. Those 3 rules I just gave you go a long way. A 16-year-old software engineering student on an associate degree equivalent program who specializes in Java backend development, what kind of project do you think would make me stand out? A 16-year-old software engineer, Java backend. I don't know. I would. I think it's not so much the project, but I have an idea for a project. But it wouldn't be so much the project, but how you execute on the project. So if you're doing Java backend, I assume you're doing Spring Boot or some variant of that. You know what I would do? My first instinct, because ChatGPT and AI is all the buzz, I would maybe build a web app that integrates with some API, some AI-based API, where you're able to communicate with the API, get a product out, and display it on a web page. You do that, that's going to gather attention. Why? Because people are looking at AI now. For actual programmers, we know ChatGPT is still far from being able to do hardcore programming. Yeah, it won't be for a while. Like, for example, as I suggested before, a lot of bugs in development can be not at all related to the code that you're writing. It could be related to configurations. It could be related to bad logic somewhere where the code is still good, but the way you coded things was wrong because of the context. There's no way an AI is going to be able to solve that. And there's no way a beginner is going to be able to solve that. And in fact, especially when you get into mature products, a lot of the complexity is making these decisions. And the coding is kind of like the icing on the cake many times. So yeah, I agree. Wei says, just got here. Have you seen all ChatGPT plugins feature? I haven't seen that. I've been trying to use the documentation, but I couldn't find any tutorials on it, and I'm struggling to understand how to develop it. Yeah, I haven't looked at that yet. It's something definitely to consider. Even ChatGPT stated after a deep conversation with it that AI is not a silver bullet and said that human developer will still be needed. Yeah, of course, that could just be political correctness on the part of ChatGPT, but it's right, though. It's right. I would do it. The more tools you have, the more complex the projects get, and the harder they get, and the more developers will be required. Yeah, that's been the case. It's like, listen, as I suggested, I have seen tools come out in development that make you far more productive, a factor of 10, factor of 12, but it has not made developers go away, right? WordPress makes it really easy to put up a website where the content is changing all the time. It used to be a lot more work. Now it's trivial, you know? So, but it hasn't changed the amount of people, who are needed to build these things. How does one aspiring developer who doesn't have a degree and is bad at math compete with people who have computer science degrees? Well, first of all, Saul, most of development has nothing to do with math. Unless you're developing AI engines or gaming engines or something, math is not an issue. Next part of the question was, they must be geniuses to have done all those math courses. Again, no, they're just knowledgeable in one area. I bet you all those math geniuses are probably going to be very bad at at UX and UI development. It's a different type of brain that can do math versus people who can do good UI UX. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Again, for the vast majority of development, math is not really an issue. That is some myth that is being perpetuated out there. I also have other skills in my arsenal for web dev like HTML, CSS, React.js, and no, but I feel in love with Java and I would love to venture into back-end development. Well, do what you like, and I can understand how you appreciate Java. Again, I gave you my suggestion before. I would try that out maybe. See how that goes. My OS is Ubuntu because I'm a socialist and I hate capitalist crap like Apple. Well, there you go. Hey, Steph, I've been scanned by an online alpha male YouTuber. How do I report this guy? I don't know. I don't know what the scam is. Maybe report it to YouTube. If they're actually scamming people and misrepresenting, you could do that. Yeah, a lot of alpha males, as the little dog barks loudest, right? The little dog barks loudest. That's all I have to say about that. Any advice on making a transition from being a financial analyst to the tech industry? I'm currently learning Python by a 100-day course in SQL. I only have a degree in accounting, nothing regarding CS. Well, if you have that degree, the degree is a lot right there for larger organizations. You might find yourself, once you learn how to write code properly, you may find yourself working at an accounting firm, writing software for them or automating processes for them since you already know accounting. That's an idea. I talk about domain knowledge. So you have accounting domain knowledge. Some other people may have, legal domain knowledge or lawyers or legal assistants. So that's where that might come in handy as well. Hi, Steph. Hey, Matt, a little bit. How are we doing for time here? Wow, an hour has passed already. All right, guys. Already an hour. Can we have a tour of your iPhone? When you're broke, you can't do jack. Even your cognitive skills start to decline. Well, you have the web. Obviously, you can get on the web. You can start learning through YouTube. You can start learning through ChatGPT, live chats like this. I know it can get you down. If you look at a link below, I have this. It's a free email automation course that helps you train your brain. And that might help you out. Just sign up and you get emails with the daily task that train your brain. So you might want to check that out. But don't give up, man. Don't give up. This is a golden era now where we have unlimited information at your disposal. Kind of a double-edged sword too. So I learned to like SQL, have to learn it in a rudimentary form for my exams, yet advanced queries can be a pain in the butt. Oh, yes, true. Is it still worth it to level up as an SQL wizard, so focused? Well, before I would drop everything and get into SQL, I would check around what the jobs are like, when you're in your 20s, that's the time when you experiment, you try different things, experiment, try this, try that, try the other thing, And then over your 20s, you'll figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you're talented at, what you're not talented at. And then when you get into your late 20s and early 30s, then you can start really working towards your career, whatever you happen to choose. The earlier the better, of course. The earlier the better. But, you know, if you're younger, mess around a little bit, you know. Do you have any advice for pricing jobs on sites like a freelancer and a Fiverr? Beyond that, do you recommend a freelancer use sites like that to build clientele? I know people who've done well with sites like that. Pricing, it's a long subject. You can probably find videos. I talk about that on YouTube. I have a course on freelance that teaches you all about that kind of stuff. Do you still do bi-weekly Zoom calls in your mentorship? Yes, I do. That's a key part of the mentoring program, UncleSteph.com. In the mentoring program, we have bi-weekly live Zoom calls where I'm always there, group coaching sessions, and we record all these sessions. So there's we got maybe 70 hours worth now. We didn't record them for the first little while. I don't know why we didn't think about that, but that's a big valuable resource where you can watch all the Q&A, and we go into some great detail. What you find in my mentoring program, about 60% of the people there are beginners, total beginners, and the other 40% are experienced developers. I even have CTOs in the program. No problem. Thanks, Khalid. Khalid says on YouTube, let's see, thanks, Uncle Steph, for your interactions and touchability. I'm in a boot camp right now for data visualization analytics, and it kind of sucks. Well, if you don't like it, and if you can get out of it, get out of it. You may want to check out my boot camp. My boot camp, though, is on practical web development and getting a job. Is hierarchy something to worry about in the development world? My nightmare is a manager trying to ruin my life. Laugh out loud. No, developers tend to have a lot of power. To pull yourself out of that matrix, if you will, that's a popular term these days. To pull yourself out of that, you first of all, you got to get over the hump of getting your first job in that first year of work. That's number one. Number two, you got to make sure you have a good amount of savings, that will save you. So at least 6 months worth to a year savings, because then you're not dependent on the job, which gives you the ability to leave jobs that you don't like. And again, keep spreading your influence around out there, joining communities, as I said before, getting to know people. So if you do that, LinkedIn, Twitter, Discord server, check out my Discord server below. We got over 3,500 members. This will all contribute. To your ability to switch from job to job. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So last part of that question, first part of the question was, is hierarchy something to worry about? Not so much. If you're capable, you'll be valuable and you'll be okay. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Do you think developers can make a career building plugin apps for Shopify App Store, building things to help businesses on Shopify? Potentially. I would ask the Shopify communities, see what they say, and take it from there. Yes, my strategy is to be super agreeable for a few years while investing my money to extract myself from the rat race. Exactly. That's how I was able to pretty much retire quite young. I was a developer freelancing, and I was making much more than I needed to live on. And in some of my good years, I would save as much as 80% of my salary, or my earnings rather. And when I started making all that extra money, I didn't make the mistake of buying expensive cars and huge houses and all this kind of stuff. I just saved my money. And within a very short period of time, I was basically didn't really have to work. And this is, it's going on for decades now. So I'm not like Elon Musk here, but I'm financially independent for a long time. So, and financial independence doesn't mean hordes of cash necessarily. It means living within your means and having now enough passive income to cover all your expenses and much more, and keep building your stockpile of investments. So yeah, it's very doable. What's your experience like? The advanced SQL queries, they suck rear end. Yeah, advanced SQL, when to do inner joins and outer joins and that kind of stuff. That always gave me trouble. So you're not the only one. Fortunately, most of the time you may have, that type of stuff pop up once or twice in a project, but that's always the most difficult. You know that's where an AI might come in really handy. Well, to be able to figure out some of those queries for you. But yeah, trust me, I wouldn't get too caught up in that. Maybe you have some financial advice for us. Yeah, you can check out some other videos. Yeah, let me know in the comments below this video what you would like to see. Finance, health, nutrition, stick to coding stuff, architecture, freelance. Let me know. Everything that I would offer to teach, all these subjects and others, is born out of personal experience. I'm not an academic as such. I study a lot of these things, but I also put a lot of things to practice. I don't feel comfortable talking about stuff I haven't used in the real world. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. This is the end of the stream. So thanks for joining. We had a small group today on Twitter. That's okay. I still have some bugs to work out there. So I appreciate you joining. And we're going to end the stream. And yeah, I'll see you in the... where is that thing? I'll see you in the next show. Window scenes. There we go. See you guys.